2025 has been a wild ride, and it is rewriting the playbook for how marketers will win in 2026. So with that in mind, we are bringing you 9 trends that will shape how you approach media, technology, and creative in the future. So buckle up, because as marketers, the way that we connect, engage, and convert is about to change all over again. Let's dive in.
Obviously, we live in a digital-first world. You're likely watching this on your phone right now. But last year, a shift happened. Concert attendance hit record highs. Trade show floors were full. People started subscribing to magazines again. They were installing landlines, buying flip phones. Why? Because we've all faced a digital overload. Audiences are craving real-life interactions again. So that means we, as marketers, need to make a shift. We have an opportunity to design real-world experiences that drive online engagement, because that's what our audiences are telling us they actually want. So to stand out, we need to create noticeable, memorable, participatory experiences, not just out of home, but experiential out of home. Stunts, street teams, product demos, and direct mail. We need to dust off all those existing strategies and bring them back to the forefront. Yes, our budgets are tighter than ever, but our audiences are craving these offline interactions, so we need to make sure that we're supplying them. And obviously, phones will still be a big part of real life, so we need to leverage their power. Create Instagrammable moments. Drive our audiences online through augmented reality. Promote the calculators that we've already created. Give them direct quotes that they're able to get instantaneously in their hand. So it's a matter of taking them from that offline situation to an online engagement. So as I said, it's time to dust off those existing strategies. Inboxes are incredibly full, but the mailboxes are empty, and our audiences are actually checking for them now. So let's fill them up.
Historically, consumer spending has kind of moved in sync with how people felt about the economy. When things felt good, people would spend more. When it was a little bit more cautious, people would close up their wallets. But that connection's been broken in a pretty dramatic way. Today's consumers aren't just tightening their belts across the board, they're actually making trade-offs. They are economizing over here so that they can indulge over there. So what we see happening is that consumers are actually redefining value. It's not just about price anymore, it's about what feels worth it. The Kirkland brand from Costco is a great example of delivering more value than you would expect from their price. And it's a brand like that that Deloitte calls an MVP, more value for price. The good news for marketers is that MVPs can exist in any category and at any price point. So how do we do that? As marketers, now is the time to lead with meaning in our messaging. Stop talking about just products and services. This is the time to talk about how you help consumers solve a problem, enable a connection, or get them one step closer to that big lofty dream that they've always had. And then secondly, make it easy for people to choose you. Create a seamless and consistent experience across all channels, because when people feel confident and at ease in choosing you, they'll keep choosing you.
In 2026, it's no longer about the fear of missing out on the next big thing. Let's be honest, that will still be there. However, it is more about the fear of blending in. AI has leveled the playing field for everyone. We can all kind of do the same things, and it's really creativity that is going to break through. So what does this mean for us? It means we need to lean into strategy. That means focusing on our value prop. What is it that we do better and different than our competitors? As well as leaning into our personality. What about us makes us uniquely us. And that's what we need to put forward in order to stand out from kind of the sea of sameness that we're seeing out there. From a tangible standpoint, this really could be about codifying our voice. It's no longer about just talking about your personality and tone. It's what lines will you say? What do you have approved? What will you say? What won't you say? And really even getting into the detail of what your voice sounds like in video and audio assets. This not only allows you to have kind of a packaged up picture of who you are from a personality standpoint, but it also allows you to share that with your partners as well as with the robots. So everybody's working with the same brand DNA.
Generative AI video continues to go mainstream. With tools like Sora 2, video production is becoming democratized. So it's so much easier for people that even don't have the same production budgets as large brands to produce high value video content. Production value is no longer a differentiator. You have people that have no budgets for video production being able to produce high quality videos at a speed and scale that large brands could only dream of years ago. You have to start experimenting with these tools. You don't need to be making fantastical worlds with all of these GenAI video creation tools, but you can be using them to edit your videos and increase the production quality that you're currently using. So the big thing right now is to start experimenting. Not everything is going to work for every brand, and not every brand is going to be comfortable with what the output is. But the main thing is to start testing and see what works for you and integrate what's working.
I'm going to make the most obvious statement ever. The AI revolution is here. Over the last few years, we've been impressed by these technologies, maybe even a little intimidated. But we've spent a lot of time understanding what they could do, what they're meant to be used for. But the exploratory time is over. Now it's time to go from adopting to adapting and use it in our own strategies as we produce assets for the next calendar year. And here's the second most obvious statement. Budgets have never been tighter. So we can use generative AI at our advantage by not trying to just create new assets, but adapting our existing ones. Think of how many product images and videos we have sitting in folders and hard drives somewhere. It's time to dust those off, because with generative AI, we can actually make all of those old assets new again. Whether that's changing backgrounds for regionality and seasonality, adding weather elements, thunderstorms, anything that feels appropriate to our audience, but then also trying to keep up with trends, adding motion. Taking a static image and giving it a slight motion from left to right turns that image into a video asset, and we all know that video is king. So as we head into 2026, we don't have to worry about creative fatigue. We don't have to worry about the asset desert, because we're going to have endless assets at our advantage and be able to create things that are personalized to our audience within everything we do.
We are in the AI era. People are loving it, but here's the twist. We don't really trust it. And when it comes to marketing, people are really concerned about what they're seeing. Is it real? Is it not real? And who's deciding what they're seeing? So this is a real wake-up call for marketers, because it demonstrates that people still value humans. When we look at ratings and reviews, people want that messy, authentic human experience, not just a checklist from a bot. And even the latest research shows that the most amazing AI-created ads still don't stick in our brains the same way that human-led ones do. So here's the move for marketers. Number one is to be transparent about your use of AI in your marketing, on your website. That transparency will build a lot of credibility. And secondly, use AI where it shines for things like personalization, rapid testing, research, volume. But when it comes to the important things like creating emotion, being relevant, and creating connections, make sure you keep that human spark front and center.
E-commerce is the next big growth wave in B2B. Brands like Shopify, Magento, or Adobe Commerce as it's called now, are continuing to invest a lot of money and time into evolving their tools to help address this B2B market. B2B customers expect the same seamless experience that they do out in their daily lives. We like to call this the Amazon effect. They're all consumers outside of their work, and they like to be able to have that seamless shopping experience that they have when they're buying stuff for their personal needs. So why give them a different experience just because they're transacting with you on a B2B level? As we go back and think about brands like Shopify and Adobe Commerce, they're spending so much time and energy developing their products that, when you're looking towards developing a B2B e-commerce experience, really think about what your cornerstone technology is. We work with a lot of partners that are helping brands offer B2B e-commerce experiences, and really these cornerstone technologies are what are going to make or break where you're going to be able to go in the next 3 to 5 years. Maybe you don't need all that functionality right now, but setting yourself up for future success is so important, because it's harder to tack on all of these different platforms and projects later on if you don't have a strong foundation to work with.
For years, brands have been wanting to find ways to meet people closer to point of purchase, and now with retail media networks and the explosion of them, it's becoming easier. Platforms like Walmart Connects and Home Depot with Orange Apron Media are taking that amazing first-party data that they have and they're pairing it with full funnel strategies so that brands are able to measure everything from exposure right down to sales outcomes. But it's not perfect. With the explosion of retail channels creates a lot of fragmentation, and that means multiple dashboards with differing metrics and differing forms of attribution, and just overall a spreading thin of resources. And all of that can make it really hard to measure accurately those measurable sales outcomes. So what are smart brands doing? Well, a couple of things. First of all, they are learning the nuances of each of the retail media platforms and then selectively choosing the ones that best fit for them, ones that align with their geography, their audiences, and their categories. And then what they're doing is they are pairing these retail executions with broader strategies, things like brand awareness campaigns. And what that does is really help to create a performance engine that builds momentum across the entire customer journey.
AI native browsers are changing the way people search. It's moving away from keywords and more into context. With browsers like Perplexity's Comet, ChatGPT's Atlas, and even AI mode in Google Chrome, people are finding and consuming information a lot differently. Authority is more important than ever to help get your information indexed and found in these AI native browsers. Make sure you're auditing your content and that your expertise and brand voice are coming through. This is really what's showing up and getting ranked within these native AI browsers. Make sure you're experimenting with content, trying different ways to make sure that you're getting visibility with whatever you're producing. There's a lot of white noise out there right now. Everyone's able to produce content at a speed and scale never seen before. So make sure that yours stands out and that your brand voice is front and center.
So that is what's next in marketing. If you'd like to talk about these trends and more, feel free to visit jankelly.com to connect with our team. They are more than ready for 2026. Thanks for watching.